Hi, my name's Chad Montoya,
Hi, I'm Jacob Foley.
Hi, my name's Marco Chang.
And I'm Matthew Kwan.
and our motif is
Oppression.
Our motif oppression can be defined by the state of being subject to unjust treatment or control. It can also be defined with the feeling of being heavily burdened, mentally or physically, by troubles, adverse conditions, anxiety, etc. Oppression can tie in with corruption, racism, or even inequality. The book that I chose relating to our motif of oppression is The Hunger Games. The country of Panem is split up into 12 districts. Each year, every district is forced to randomly choose two tributes, one girl and one boy, to fight in the annual Hunger Games until one person is left. The games are used as a sort of entertainment for the people living in the capital. This aspect of the government is corrupt because they enjoy hosting the games even if it means innocent lives will be taken.
The novel I chose for our motif is Catching Fire, the second novel in the Hunger Games trilogy. The novel begins 6 months after Katniss and Peeta have won the Hunger Games. Things are finally starting to settle down as Katniss and Peeta are back in their home district. However, President Snow soon announces that they will be holding the 75th Quarter Quell, where the two tributes representing their district will be chosen from a pool of past victors. Now Katniss must go back to the games with Peeta one more time and do everything in her power to survive, but more importantly protect Peeta from death. This novel relates to oppression because Katniss is being targeted by the Capitol. President Snow made up the Quarter Quell in hopes of killing Katniss because she is a symbol of freedom to many people and is a threat to the Capitol.
the novel I chose to read for our theme of oppression is Mockingjay, the last book in the Hunger Games trilogy. This book revolves around Katniss because she finally takes a stand against the cruel Capitol and fights for freedom. All the people of the underdeveloped districts are starving and they can't do anything about it. Katniss leads a rebellion against the Capitol and ends up being victorious, killing President Snow. She is symbolized as a mockingjay because she has a spirit of her own and she doesn't conform to the corruption of the Capitol. This novel connects to oppression because the Capitol is making the lower districts suffer for no reason. They know they can get away with this too because they are more rich and powerful than the other citizens.
In my novel 13 Reasons Why, the victim Hannah Baker transfers to a new school and has a hard time fitting in with other students. She is bullied and ends up committing suicide. Before she kills herself, she creates 13 tapes and designates each one of them to someone who contributed to her depression. In each of the tapes, she explains how she was oppressed and what damage left on her. I really enjoyed this novel because the concept of leaving tapes behind after committing a suicide is unconventional. People typically leave notes saying goodbye or explaining their situation, but Hannah wanted her bullies to hear her side of the story.
In the novel Purple Hibiscus, Papa Nuku is very religious and he forces his family to follow his rules and never defy him. He is so abusive that he beats any of his family if they make him upset and don't follow his rules completely. After suffering her whole life, Camberly's mother kills Papa by poisoning his tea. And just like Katniss rebels against the Capitol in Mockingjay, Mama stands up for herself and overcomes her oppression from Papa. I meant to say I'm sorry that Papa broke your figurines, but the words that came out were, I'm sorry your figurines broke, Mama. In this quote, Papa gets mad at Jaja for not going to church, and he throws a book and breaks Mama's precious figurines. Mama is very sad, and Camberly tries to comfort her. Camberly knows that she can't speak bad about Papa, so she acts like it wasn't his fault. This quote is significant because it shows that Camberly lives in fear from her father, and it affects her thoughts and actions.
Our group thought that the short story The Yellow Wallpaper best represented our theme of oppression. The Yellow Wallpaper takes place in the 19th century when women were considered second class to their husbands. The narrator's husband, John, tells her that she is sick and he forces her to stay inside a room all day. The wallpaper in the room freaks the narrator out and she eventually goes insane.
Of course, if you were in any danger, I could and would, but you really are better, dear, whether you can see it or not. I am a doctor, dear, and I know. You are gaining flesh and color. Your appetite is better. I feel really much easier about you. I don't weigh a bit more, I said, nor as much, and my appetite may be better in the evening when you are here, but it is worse in the morning when you are away. The narrator tries to convince her husband John to leave the house so that she doesn't have to be near the wallpaper. He simply brushes her off and doesn't really pay attention to her. He uses his title as a doctor to make it seem like he knows what he's talking about, but really he doesn't understand what his wife is going through. This shows the inequality between men and women in the past, which falls under the category of oppression. Because John doesn't take his wife seriously, she turns into a psychopath at the end of the novel.